Did you know the universe is always using you for a greater purpose? In this video, I'm about to break down how the universe uses you. Now, when a person needs to hear something, right? They could be going through something in their life. They could be going through a situation in their life, and here you come. You speak the right words that someone needs to hear at that moment. And sometimes you don't even know where the words came from. You don't know why you spoke those words, but you spoke it at the right time when they needed to hear it. The universe will always use you to deliver a message to someone who needed to hear it at that moment, right? And another way that the universe will use you is to help a stranger. You may feel this sudden urge when you come out of a grocery store or wherever you're at, gas station. You feel this sudden urge to reach on in your pocket, help them out, give them a little money so they can get them something to eat. The universe will use you for that. Let me tell you this quick story that happened to me. And the reason why this story stuck to me, because this was so profound in my life. This was something totally different. I help strangers all the time, but this particular time was so different. So I went to Dunkin' Donuts, and at this time I was eating like meats. Right now I'm a pescatarian, but at this time I got a sausage, egg, cheese croissant with hash browns and orange juice right at that moment. So I noticed this lady, she was a little further up, standing more by the door, and she was asking people for a change and so she can get something. I don't know what she needed it for, right? But anyway, I had this sudden urge to feed her, right? So I told the cashier, I said, you know what? Give me 2 of those sandwiches, 2 hash browns, and 2 orange juices. She was like, 2 of everything? I said, yeah, 2 of everything. So, after I paid for everything, I drove up to this lady and I said, you know what? Here, how you doing, sweetheart? Here you go, right here. And I gave her everything. And she looked at me in my eye. She was like, oh, thank you, baby. And at that time, she looked into my soul when she said this. And automatically, I started crying. I felt like this urge to my eyes watered up. I couldn't even tell her you're welcome. I couldn't even say you're welcome. I was like, you're welcome. And I rolled my window and I drove up out of there. And I was crying all the way home. And to this day, those were tears of joy. That was consciousness helping other consciousness. That was God using me to help someone else at that time. And I felt all the emotions from her or whatever it may have been. But that was insane. You know what I mean? And I'm just grateful that I am a vessel that the universe can use all the time. When it comes to being used as a vessel, a lot of the times people shut that off. They're not letting themselves be used. They won't reach in their pocket and help someone, even though they had the intuition to do it, even though they had that inner thought that said, give them something, right? And they don't do it. They're more into being selfish, right? A lot of the times people won't let the universe use them. And those are the kind of people who don't receive lots of blessings in their life. Now, another way that the universe will use you is to deliver a message. And I'm not talking about speaking out loud or anything like that. I'm talking about delivering messages through dreams, through a person's intuition, and through a person's random thoughts. See, a lot of the times people will receive messages in their dreams, and this can be somebody that you've never seen before and you don't even know this person, but you popped up in their dream and you told them exactly what they needed to do next. You gave them the keys to success, the keys to wealth, abundance. You popped up in their dreams, right? Or this may come from a person's intuition. See, we are all so connected. We're consciousness. We're all connected to one another. When we are on the same frequency, we can pick up on thoughts of other people. That's why sometimes when you're driving or wherever you're at, you get a thought in your mind. You're like, why am I thinking about what? That's not my thought. You automatically can catch that this isn't your thought because you wouldn't do like that. You wouldn't do something like that. You wouldn't think like that. Right? Because we're so interconnected. So the universe will use you to implant thoughts into a person's intuition. that will also give them inspired action on what move to make next, on what to do next, how to get themselves out of a situation that they may be in, or random thoughts. You may be sitting somewhere, right? And a person may be going through something. You can tell just by their energy. You can pick up on their frequency. You can look at their face. You could feel their mood that they may not be feeling so well. Or you may pick up on a conversation that they may be having on the phone, right? And you're thinking to yourself like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Everything's going to work out. They pick up on that random thought. They pick up on it right away, and then they start feeling comfort. They start feeling hope because they picked up on your information that you delivered to them, your thoughts. And now they're thinking like, okay, everything's going to be all right. I'm going to work myself through this. It's going to be all right. I'm going to be out of this situation soon, right? The universe will use you to deliver messages through dreams, intuition, and random thoughts. Now, another way that you will be used as a vessel is to share your knowledge and your wisdom. See, sometimes this could be like to a family member, this can be to a stranger or a friend. You know, you have this knowledge in you that maybe you haven't even tapped into it yet, but sometimes you have answers to things that you can't even explain, right? Or you may just know the knowledge, but you have the urge to share this knowledge to someone at that moment, at that time. The universe will use you for that. And once you share this knowledge, you change their life path. You change the trajectory of the decision that they were going to make. You change everything in their life just by sharing this knowledge, this wisdom that you have in you. And, you know, God, the universe can see every possible outcome. God can see every timeline, every situation based off whatever decision somebody that somebody made that make their life end up where it is at this moment for you to tell them this knowledge. And God knows if you tell them this knowledge and share this wisdom with them, that it's going to change their life. And it's going to bring them closer to who they are destined to become, right? So the universe will use you to share knowledge and wisdom that will change somebody's path in their life. Now, another way that the universe will use you as a vessel for something greater is to share your creativity. Long before you ever thought about making a song or painting this painting or writing this book or creating this poetry, whatever it may be, long before you ever thought about it, the universe knew that you were going to make this painting that this person one day was going to see, which was going to change their life. They looked at your painting and said, oh, that is so beautiful. That is beautiful. You know, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? They looked at your stuff and it changed their life. Or they heard your song. They heard your song and all of a sudden it changed their mood. It changed the decision that they were going to make that day. And all of a sudden things are working out in their life at that moment because they heard your song, all that positivity that you got in your song, right? Or they read your book. They get to feel the vibration and the frequency that you were on when you wrote that book. They're picking up on those positive words that you got, that you put in that book, and it is changing their life, right? That poetry, that spoken word, baby. You know, you are a walking inspiration. You are the message. You are what God is using for the greater purpose that's about to happen in someone else's life. You make so much of a change and so much of a difference, right? Now, another way is to stop somebody from hurting themselves, from doing something that they'll regret, you know. And I know this has happened a lot in life. You know, people have talked people off that ledge, literally. And then they go on through their life and they'll never forget you because you talked them off the ledge, because they have lived their life. They flourished. Now they have a family. Now they have something to live for. And they're always thinking to themselves, man, if you didn't walk them off that ledge, none of this would be possible, right? The universe will use you to stop someone from doing something that they'll regret. The universe will always use you to help someone in a situation like that. That's why you feel so compelled to always give people so much great advice or to stop somebody from making the wrong decision in life. That's why you feel compelled to do that, because the universe is always using you for a greater purpose. Now, another way is to plant a seed in someone's mind that is going to later on grow like a tree, baby. You know, you may just give somebody that great idea like, hey, one day start this business and do this, or one day invest into this, or one day get into music, or whatever it may be. One day that seed is going to grow because the universe used you to plant that seed into their subconscious mind. And a person will wake up and have that inspired action. And then they're going to look back and say, hey, I remember when I'm talking about you, gave them that idea. You know, they're like, man, I remember that they gave me that idea. And now I'm writing this book, and it's you know, you did that. The universe used you to plant that seed of inspiration into their subconscious mind that later one day it will grow. Now, also, the universe will use you to reveal truth in someone around you or people around you that's always telling lies. You know, you are the person who will reflect to them of why they shouldn't lie so much, of why they shouldn't tell lies to their mate, or just by you being truthful, just by you being the truthful person that you are, right? So you definitely reflect the image of truth. It's like you become inspiration. You know, God wanted them to see the image that they are. You know, you inspired them to just be truthful no matter what, right? So the God will use you to reveal that. And another thing about truth is to reveal truth in toxic situations. You know, a person could be going through a relationship, right? And here you are with this truth. You just tell them like it is. You be like, I don't think they're no good for you. You know, they don't treat you right. They're just not treating you good. You know, they're toxic. You know, you need to get yourself out of this situation. God will use you to deliver this message to them. You know, you need to get away from this person as soon as you can, or you need to get out of this situation because it's not going to end up right for you. You know, God will use you to deliver that message of truth to a person so that it can be revealed. Either they need to stop lying, being a liar, or they need to get out of a situation that's going to affect them in a negative way. So the universe will definitely use that. Now, another way that the universe will use you is to motivate someone just by living in your purpose. You know, see, you are a chosen one. You know, you do things different. You think out of your comfort zone, right? You step out of your comfort zone. You just do different things. And by you living in your purpose, you inspire other people to want to try something different, because you're always different. You always do different things. Just by living in your purpose, you make people around you want to find some kind of purpose, right? So that is another way that the universe will use you. Now, another way is just by being positive. All that good energy that you're always spewing off you all the time. You know, you're always giving off this good vibration all the time. You're even at the workplace, wherever you're at, you always have this good vibration. See, when it comes to vibration, when it comes to your heart, it has an electromagnetic field that spews out for like 10 feet, you know, and you can come into a room and people can pick up on that vibration, that frequency, that energy that you're giving off. They see that smile on your face. They see how you're walking, you're coming there, and they see this about you. And you inspire them to also raise up their vibration and their frequency. Sometimes you may come into a place and you're giving off this good positive, this negative energy, and you can feel, this positive energy, and you could pick up on people's negative energy. And you inspire them to want to raise their vibration, to not be negative, to not have this negative energy, you know, just by you coming into a room. Now, people can also sense your evolution. People around you, you know, That's another way that God will use you as a vessel to let people know that change is possible, and this is going to go for like people that are either in your life or people that been knowing you, or people on social media. They can see your growth if you're sharing it, right? Or even people around you, they could see that you are not the same person that you used to be. You're not. You're constantly evolving. You're constantly getting to the next level. You're becoming successful. You're making different changes in your life that are going to help you evolve and grow into the person that you are destined to become. And you are a walking inspiration. Your motivation to people and letting them know that, hey, I can change. All I have to do is start making some small changes here, some adjustments here, and it makes a huge impact in people's lives when they see how your evolution has progressed over the years. You understand what I'm saying? Now, also, the universe will use you to just be a mirror. You reflect to people what they need to do, what they should do in their life just by watching you and how you move and what you're doing in your life. And if you have children, they're looking at you. You are this mirror that is reflecting to people on how they should go about being successful, how they should go about elevating their life and getting to the next level. You become this mirror to stop people from wanting to be negative, to stop people from being liars, to stop people from being cheaters, because you are the kind of person that doesn't do this, because God already knew who you were going to become. God already knew that you were going to be around these people or have these kids in your life one day. That's why you are who you are, because God already knew that you were going to impact many lives. And God will also use you. The universe will also use you to show people that manifestation is real, because you are the kind of person, you're into manifestation. You're showing people, you're like, man, you're talking about it. You're like, man, I'm manifesting this. I'm speaking this into existence. I'm visualizing this. And then people look at your life and they say, man, you're manifesting lots of things in your life, right? So the universe will use you to show people that manifestation is real, that they can manifest anything that they desire in their life just by you giving off that manifestation energy, just by showing them that it's real. A lot of the times people need to see evidence that manifestation is real, and you are that walking evidence, right? Your belief in everything that you got going on, your belief in yourself is an inspiration, and it is how the universe will use you to show people that they can also believe in their self. So you're always being used by the universe all the time, even if you don't know it. Just by the littlest things that you do, just by the littlest things that you say, the universe is using you to inspire others, to motivate others, to let people know that the impossible is possible, baby. You are that walking inspiration. Now, I just wanted to share this message, people, in different ways that the universe will use you like a vessel, as a vessel for something greater, even if you don't know it, right? You are a chosen one. You were chosen for this. Now, I'm so grateful and so thankful for you tuning into Millionaire Mindset, where everything happens in divine time by divine design, baby, but you are the divine design. We are all walking a spiritual journey together, right? Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment on this video and hype me up if you get a chance. Thank you so much. Till the next video. Peace.